The sun was setting behind the tall mountains. A soft orange light filled the forest near a small village on the edge of human territory. In this peaceful place, a young boy named Tareen walked alone, holding a small bag of tools. He was only 12 years old, but clever and curious. He liked to collect broken machines and try to fix them. That evening, as he walked near the thick trees, he heard a strange noise in the sky. It was not the sound of a bird or plane. It was loud like thunder, but not from clouds. He looked up and saw something fast moving through the sky. It was on fire. It was falling. Then came a huge boom. From deep inside the forest, trees shook. Birds flew out in panic. A trail of smoke rose into the sky. Taryn stood still for a moment.
Then
he did what most would be too scared to do. He ran toward the sound. The forest was quiet now, except for the crackling of small fires. Tareen pushed through thick bushes and trees. After some time, he found the source of the crash. There, in a small clearing, was a silver object half buried in the ground. It was shaped like a small ship, not like anything made by humans. Its sides were smooth, glowing softly in the dark. Strange symbols were written on the surface. Taryn stepped closer, heart beating fast. Part of the ship's door was open. He peeked inside carefully. There, lying on the floor, was a girl. She looked about. His age. Her skin was light blue, and her hair was white like snow. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was weak. Her clothes were silver and torn in places. She was hurt. For a moment, Taryn didn't know what to do. But then he remembered his mother's words. If someone needs help, you help them. He gently reached inside. Hey, can you hear me? He whispered. The girl opened her eyes slowly. Her eyes were silver and glowed a little. She looked at him with confusion and fear. She tried to speak, but the words were not human language. It's okay, Tareen said, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. I won't hurt you. She winced in pain, holding her side. There was a deep cut, and her skin looked burned. Taryn knew he had to act fast. If anyone from the village saw this, they might call the army, or worse. People feared aliens. They might even hurt her. But Taryn didn't see a monster, saw a scared, hurt girl. He ran back to his home and quietly took bandages, food, and water. He didn't tell anyone. He returned to the crash site and found the girl still there, barely awake. He cleaned her wounds and wrapped them carefully. She watched him, confused, but didn't stop him. When he gave her water, she drank slowly. My name is Taryn, he said, pointing to himself. Taryn. The girl looked at him, then touched her chest weakly.
Allah,
she said in a soft voice. Tareen smiled. Allah. Okay, you'll be okay, Allah. Each night for the next few days, Tareen returned. To the forest, he brought food, helped her heal, and taught her simple human words. Ayla learned fast. She showed him symbols on a small screen from her ship. He guessed it was some kind of star map. One night, she used her finger to draw stars in the dirt and pointed to one, far from Earth. Home, she said softly. Taryn nodded. You're home. She looked sad. No ship, no talk, no go home. Taryn wanted to help more, but he was just a boy. Still, he tried to fix parts of her ship. He cleaned wires, removed broken panels, and gave her his flashlight. They didn't speak the same language well, but they understood each other. One rainy night, bright lights filled the sky again. Taryn looked up and saw a much bigger ship floating. Above the forest, it was quiet, with no sound, but powerful. He ran to the clearing. Ayla was standing outside her ship, weak but ready. She looked at him, her eyes full of feeling. From the large ship above, a beam of soft blue light came down. 3 tall figures in long robes appeared in the light. They had blue skin like Ayla and eyes that glowed. Ayla walked to them but turned back. She ran to Taryn and hugged him tightly. It was a short hug, but one he never forgot. She looked into his eyes and said, Thank you, Taryn. He said nothing. He just nodded. She stepped into the blue light, and in seconds, she and the other aliens disappeared. The ship above rose. Into the sky, faster than anything he had ever seen, and vanished among the stars. The next morning, the crash site was gone. The ship. The signs, everything was cleaned as if nothing had ever happened. But Terran remembered. He never told the village. Not his parents. Not the guards. It became his secret. Years passed, he grew up. Sometimes he looked at the stars and wondered, where is Isla now? Did she forget me? Did she ever make it home? He never knew that far away in another world, someone, with silver eyes, still remembered the human boy who once saved her life. 10 years had passed since that night in the forest. The stars above the earth still shone bright, but Terran's life had changed. He was now 22 years old. He worked as a mechanic in a small colony town called Luma Ridge, near the border. Of human and alien space, Terran liked his quiet life. He fixed broken drones, flying bikes, and farming tools. People trusted him because he was honest and skilled. But no one knew about the secret he kept deep in his heart, a memory of a glowing-eyed girl from the stars. Every night. After work, Terran sat outside his small workshop and looked up at the sky. He often thought about Ayla, the alien girl he saved as a boy. Was she safe? Did she ever think of him? He believed he would never see her again. He was wrong. One morning, the colony woke up to something strange. The sky turned silver blue, and a massive alien cruiser slowly appeared above the hills. It hovered silently, blocking the sun. People gathered in the streets, whispering and afraid. Is it an invasion? Someone asked. Call the planetary guard, another shouted. Terran stood outside his shop, staring in shock. The ship looked nothing like human designs. It was smooth, like a giant flying crystal, with lights dancing across its surface. Then a deep voice came from the ship, speaking in perfect human language. We come in peace. Do not fear. We request permission to land. The mayor of Luma Ridge, an old woman named Ronnie, gave permission carefully. Though the ship floated down and landed gently on the open field outside the town. A large door opened. From it stepped a group of tall, glowing blue aliens in fine clothes. In the center was a woman wearing silver robes and a glowing necklace. She looked human in shape but not in color. Her skin was soft blue, and her long white hair flowed like silk. Her eyes, silver and full of light, scanned the crowd. Heart stopped. It was a YLR. She was older now, taller and stronger. Ella, her eyes had more wisdom, but the warmth in them was still the same. She walked past the guards, past the mayor, and came straight toward Terran. People made way confused. She stood in front of him and smiled gently. Terran, she said. He was frozen, Ayla. She nodded. I promised to return. I am here. To fulfill that promise? Then she said something no one expected. I have come to marry you. There was silence. Everyone looked at each other. Did they hear that right? Terran blinked. Wait. Ayla turned to the crowd. This human saved my life when I was a child. In my culture, that creates a bond. We call it the life thread. It means honor, respect, and choice. I have chosen Terran as my life partner. Gasps came from the people. Some were surprised, some were confused, some were not happy. Mayor Ronnie stepped forward carefully. Princess Ayla, she said, guessing the title. We are honored by your visit, but marriage. This is unexpected. Ayla smiled kindly. Understand, it is not your way, but it is mine. I wish to bring peace between our people. This bond can be the first step. Terran was pulled into a private room by local officials. They wanted answers. Is this real? One asked, do you know her? Another said. Terran told them everything about the forest. Crash, the days he helped her in secret. The promise. Many were shocked. Some were angry he never told anyone. Others were impressed. Outside, people were divided. Some were excited a marriage between a human and an alien royal could bring trade, peace, and new science. Others were afraid, what if it was a trick? Tarin sat quietly in his shop that night. The whole colony was talking about him, about her, about the wedding. Then he heard a knock. It was Ayla. She stepped inside slowly. Her voice was soft. I'm sorry I surprised you. I thought maybe you had forgotten. Taryn shook his head. I never forgot, but I didn't think you would come back. Ella smiled. I never forgot either. When I returned to my world, I told my people about the kind human boy who saved me. Some laughed, some listened. I worked hard to rise in my people's council. Now I have power, and I used it to come find you. Taryn looked at her, but why marriage? Ella sat down. In my culture, it's the highest form of respect. It means trust. We share our bond, and it brings strength to both our kinds. He asked quietly, Is that the only reason? She looked into his eyes. No. I also came because I wanted to see you again. I still remember your face, your kindness. Didn't know me, but you helped me. You gave me food, care, hope. You were a child, but you were brave. It never left my heart. Taryn felt something warm inside him. She was not just paying a debt, she cared. The next day, Allah met with the colony leaders. She offered peace, technology, and cultural exchange. She promised her people would not interfere with human life. Some leaders still hesitated. Is this marriage a trick to take control? One asked. Ayla shook her head. This is not about control. This is about trust. The mayor asked Taryn what he wanted. Taryn looked at Ayla. She stood tall and proud, but her eyes showed real feeling. Not orders, not politics, just hope. He took a deep breath and said, I don't know everything about her world, but I know she's honest. She came back after 10 years. That means something. I want to give this a chance. Some people clapped. Others still looked unsure. But one thing was clear. Something big had begun. The next few days in Luma Ridge were filled with questions, surprises, and arguments. People whispered in the streets. Some looked at Taryn with awe. Others stared with doubt or fear. A human marrying an alien. And not just any alien, a royal ambassador. Taryn tried to stay calm, but inside, he was confused. He liked Ayla. He trusted her. But marriage? So sudden, was he ready? Inside the colony's main hall, a meeting was held. Mayor Ronnie invited leaders, scientists, and guards. Ayla stood in the center, wearing silver clothes that shimmered like moonlight. Her glowing eyes looked around the room calmly. Taryn sat near the front, next to a translator machine. Though Ayla now spoke human language well, sometimes she used her native tongue when emotions were strong. I have come, Ayla said, to offer peace not through weapons, but through unity. My people have watched humans grow. We saw war, strength, and love. We believed humans were wild, but one human changed my view. She looked at Taryn. He was only a boy. He had nothing to gain, yet he saved a stranger from another world, gave food, water, and care. No fear, only kindness. The hall was silent. In my culture, she continued, a bond created by life-saving is sacred. We call it the heart promise. When someone saves another from death, the one saved can offer their life in return. I offer mine to Taryn. Not as payment, but as a partner. Some gasped. Others clapped. I wish to marry Taryn, Ella said clearly. This is not a trick. It is not for control. It is a true offer. Mayor Ronnie spoke next. Princess Alla, your words are noble. But this is new to us. Our people are unsure. Many fear what they do not understand. Alla nodded. Fear is natural, but we can face it with truth. She turned to Taryn. Do you accept my proposal? You may say no. I will not force. But I offer this with heart and honor. Taryn stood slowly. Every eye turned to him. He looked at Ayla, remembering her younger face in the forest. The way she had trusted him, even when scared. He remembered her warmth, her strength. I don't fully understand your ways, he said. You mean it. I saw your eyes back then. I see them now. You're not here to control. You're here because you believe in something better. He looked at the crowd. I won't lie, I'm nervous, but I believe in her. The room buzzed with voices. Some supported, some still doubted. Outside the hall, a group of people began gathering signs. No alien marriages. Keep humans pure. Later that evening, Ayla visited Tarin at his small home. Her guards waited outside. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I didn't know so many would be upset." "It's not your fault," Tarin replied. "Change always scares people." She looked out the window. "Back on my planet, many are angry too. They don't want me to marry a human. They think it's shameful." Tarin raised an eyebrow. "We're upsetting both worlds." Ayla smiled slightly. "Seems like it." They both laughed quietly. Felt good. Light Tarin poured her some tea, unsure if she drank it. She took a sip and smiled. "Sweet," she said. "I like it." They talked for hours. Ayla told stories of her planet of glowing trees, crystal lakes, and floating gardens. Tarin told her about Earth's oceans, music, and ice cream. He asked her, "Why me, really? After all these years, why not forget and move on?" She looked at him seriously. "You were my first memory of Earth. Not war. Not power. Just one kind human in the forest, helping me without question. That memory guided me. I rose in rank, not because I was royal, but because I believed there was something better than fear, and you showed me that." Tarin felt something. Deep stir in his chest. He never thought saving a life would change anything. Now, it might change the galaxy. The next day, Ayla and Tarin walked together through the colony. Some people smiled, some looked away, a few shouted rude words. Tarin squeezed Ayla's hand. "You okay?" "I've faced worse," she replied calmly. "Words are not weapons." Suddenly, a rock flew through the air. It hit the ground near them. Guards rushed forward. A man shouted, "Go back to your world." Tarin stepped in front of Ayla. "Enough," he shouted back. She's not your enemy." The mayor came and ordered the man to be taken away. She turned to the crowd. "This is not the human way. We listen, we respect. Even if we don't agree." Tarin looked at the crowd. "You don't have to like it, but don't attack her. She's done nothing wrong." Later that evening, the government sent a message. The marriage would need approval from Earth's Central Council. Till then, Ayla must stay as a guest, not a citizen. Ayla accepted, though it slowed their plans. She spoke to her own people. Through a glowing screen, sending messages of peace and calm, but not everyone on her planet was happy either. Some alien council members sent warnings, "Do not marry a human. It brings shame. Return home or lose your royal name." Ayla looked at Tarin. "Would you still accept me if I was not a princess?" Tarin smiled. "I never cared about that. I care about the girl from the forest," the one who said, "Thank you," with her eyes. At night, under the stars, Ayla and Tarin sat near the old forest trail. "This is where we met," Tarin said. Ayla nodded. "You were smaller then." "You were glowing more," he replied. They both smiled. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small crystal. "This is from my ship, the one that crashed. I saved it for 10 years. She placed it in his hand. "Now it's yours." He looked at the crystal. It shimmered in the moonlight. "Then, I guess, I need to give you something too." He took off a small metal pin from his old workshop jacket. It was shaped like a gear symbol, but meaningful. "I wore this when I fixed things. It helped me build. Now I give it to you." Ayla smiled. "Then together, we will build something new." They didn't need royal approval in that moment, or permission. Their promise was already made. The sky over Luma Ridge had turned cloudy. The mood in the colony was the same, cloudy and heavy. Some people supported Tarin and Ayla, happy that a human and an alien were choosing peace. But others still felt uneasy. They didn't trust aliens, no matter how kind Ayla seemed. One afternoon, a quiet group gathered outside the government building. They held signs with messages like, "Humans first, no alien blood in Earth." "She's just using him," Tarin walked past them with Ayla. He didn't say anything, but his jaw was tight. Ayla held his hand and whispered, "It's not your fault. Fear is loud, but not strong." Inside the building, Mayor Ronnie met with them. Her face looked tired. "We received a warning from the Central Human Council," she said. They say this marriage must be paused until a full investigation is done? Taryn frowned. Investigation? Of what? Ronnie sighed. They think Ayla might be using this as a trick. They're afraid she has secret plans. Ayla stayed calm. Let them come. I will answer all questions. But it wasn't just Earth that was worried. On the same day, Ayla received a private message from her homeworld. Her second cousin, Kieran, a high-ranking alien leader, had sent a sharp warning. You are a royal. Your duty is to our people. If you continue this, we'll remove your title. You will no longer be part of the royal line. Ayla didn't reply immediately. She sat alone for a while, thinking. Then she closed the message and walked out too. Meet Taryn, when she told him. He was silent at first. Then he said, Do you still want to marry me, even if you lose your title? Ayla smiled. I didn't fall in love with you because I was a princess. You didn't save me because you knew I was royal. Our bond was honest. I won't give it up for a crown. But worse news was yet to come. That night, an explosion shook the colony. Boom. Smoke rose from the south side, near the storage buildings. People screamed and ran. Guards rushed to stop the fire. Taryn and Ayla ran too, helping a family out of the smoke. No one died. But a message was left behind, burned into a metal wall. Stop the marriage, or next time it's blood. Mayor Ronnie looked shaken. We have to tighten security. This is not just protest anymore. Someone wants to hurt you both. Ayla looked calm, but inside she felt cold. This wasn't just a disagreement. Someone wanted to stop peace with violence, Taryn. Looked at the words on the wall. He'd faced fear before, but now it was different. Someone had tried to send a message, and it was clear. Back off, or face danger. The next morning, human investigators arrived from the central government. 2 officers, Liam and Mara, both serious and professional, came to speak with Taryn and Ayla. They asked many questions. How long have you known each other? Why now, after 10 years? Is there proof of the original rescue? You know about the group calling themselves the Earthkeepers? Ayla answered every question with patience and truth. Taryn supported her, telling the full story again. The officers recorded everything before leaving. Officer Liam looked at Ayla and said, Some will never accept this, but you're brave to try.
Ow.
Later, Ayla stood on a platform in front of the town square. Cameras recorded her. People watched from every direction. She gave a short speech. I did not come here to take. I came to give. My heart, my trust, my future. I know fear is easy to feel, but we are stronger than fear. A human boy once helped me. Now I stand here, not as a stranger, but as a friend. Some people clapped. Others stayed silent. But in the crowd, one man wore a black jacket and dark gloves. His eyes were cold. His hand gripped something small and hidden in his coat. That night, Taryn and Ayla were walking back to his workshop. The stars above were clear again. Ayla looked up and smiled. Sometimes I wonder, she said, what my life would be like if I crashed anywhere else. Taryn laughed. Probably not this exciting. Suddenly, they heard a sound click. Then a red light shined near Ayla's chest. A sniper beam. Taryn acted without thinking. He pushed her down and rolled behind a wall. A shot fired zap, burned through the stone where her head had been. Guards ran in, alarms rang. The attacker ran through the crowd, but a drone spotted him. He was caught after a short chase. It was the same man from the crowd earlier, shouted while being dragged away. She's lying. They all lie. You're ruining Earth. Taryn stood in front of Ayla, shaking with anger. You okay? Asked Y nodded slowly. Yes, thanks to you. Again. She placed her hand over his. You've saved me twice now. Maybe I should ask you to marry me again. The next day, security was doubled. Both Earth and alien forces agreed to send more peacekeepers. Mayor Ronnie called for calm. This colony is a place of unity, she said. If we let hate win, we lose everything. Ayla received a final message from her homeworld. Her title was officially removed. You are now Ayla, no longer princess, the message said. She showed it to Taryn and smiled. Well, Now I'm just a regular alien girl.
Ari.
Taryn held her hand, and I'm just a regular mechanic. Seems like a good match. They both laughed. That evening, they sat in the quiet forest where it all began years ago. Birds chirped. Wind moved through the trees. The stars above were calm, Taryn said. Things are getting harder. But I'm still with you. Allah replied, it's always hardest before change comes. But change is coming. They sat side by side, two souls from two worlds, waiting for the storm to pass. But neither of them knew that the real secret still lay deep beneath the forest, hidden under roots and earth waiting to be found. The sun had not yet risen when Taryn and Ayla quietly left the colony. With guards watching every corner and threats still rising, they both knew they needed time, away time, to think, to breathe, and to find peace. Taryn packed a small bag with tools, food, and a solar lamp. Allah brought a glowing crystal map from her ship. It held information about her crash site from 10 years ago, deep in the forest, far from Luma Ridge. If we find the old ship, we may find proof of everything. Taryn nodded. And maybe something the world needs to see. They walked for hours through quiet trees and soft grass. The forest had grown wilder since their childhood. Vines wrapped around tall trunks. Birds called from the branches. Air smelled like rain and earth. AYL led the way, following the crystal map. It projected a small light in the air, showing old symbols and coordinates. Finally, they reached a steep hill covered in moss. At the top, hidden behind trees, was a pile of broken metal, shining even in the shade. Taryn's eyes widened. It's still here. Allah stepped forward slowly. This was my escape pod. I remember now. I was bleeding, scared, and you were the light I found. The metal was rusted, but some parts still glowed faintly. Taryn pulled out a tool and carefully opened a hatch. Inside it was dusty, but untouched. They stepped in. Inside the ship was quiet and dark. Allah pressed a hand on a small screen, and the lights flickered on. The ship responded to her touch like it remembered her. In one corner was a small cube. It blinked when it saw her. It's a memory core, Ayla explained. It stores events, messages, and images. She touched the cube. A hologram appeared in the air. It showed a younger Aylingered, weak, being pulled out of the pod by a small boy. It was Taryn. The image zoomed in on his face. The cube had recorded everything. Taryn watched in silence as the hologram replayed scenes from the past, him giving food, wrapping bandages, showing kindness. I never knew this was all recorded, he whispered. Ayla smiled. Now, the world will know this is the proof. She placed the cube in her bag carefully. But there's something else here. They moved deeper into the pod, toward a sealed door. Allah used her handprint to open it. Inside was a dark chamber, cold, silent. Then they saw it. A glowing object floated in the middle of the room. It looked like a crystal heart, pulsing with light. Taryn stepped back. What is that? Ayla stared at it, shocked. It's ancient. Tech. My people call it a starseed. It stores knowledge, energy, and secrets of the old galaxy. Taryn looked at her. Why was it on your ship? She shook her head. I don't know, I was just a child then. Maybe my family was hiding it. Maybe it was an accident. But this is powerful. She touched it, and the crystal lit up brighter. Images flashed across the walls, maps of planets, blueprints of machines, and languages not yet spoken on Earth. Taryn whispered, if this gets into the wrong hands. Allah finished his sentence. It could destroy everything. Just then, they heard a sound outside. Buzz. A drone. Then a voice over a loudspeaker. This is the Earth Security Patrol. Come out with your hands up. Taryn and Ayla looked at each other. How did they find them? They tracked the crystal, Allah said. Its energy is too strong. Taryn picked up the starseed. We can't let them take it. They rushed out the back of the ship, slipping through trees and sliding down the hill. Behind them, searchlights moved through the forest. Footsteps came closer. Allah pointed. This way. They moved fast, hearts racing. Terran used his tool to break open a path through thick vines. Allah covered their tracks with soft light from her hand device. Soon they reached a cave by the river. They ducked inside and waited. The searchlights passed by. The voices grew distant. They had escaped for now. Inside the cave, they sat on a rock, breathing hard. Terran looked at the starseed. What do we do with it? Allah stared at the glowing crystal. If we give it to Earth's council, they might hide it. If we give it to my people, they might use it for power. Terran nodded. So what if we give it to everyone? Allah raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? We make the memory cube public, he said. Let the galaxy see the truth. This boy and a girl from two worlds. A forgotten friendship. A second chance. Then we show this starseed not as a weapon but as a message. Allah thought for a long time. Then she smiled. You really are still the same boy I met. Honest and brave. She leaned close. And now, I'm glad I came back. The next day, they returned quietly to the colony. Guards met them at the edge of the forest, weapons raised. But Ayla lifted her hands and said, We bring no threat, only truth. Mayor Rani met them at the gates. You ran without warning, she said. The government is angry. Terran stepped forward. We had to. We found something. Something that matters. They handed over the memory cube. Rani watched the hologram replay Terran's rescue of Ayla from 10 years ago. Her eyes softened. This is real proof. Then they showed her the starseed. Her hands trembled. I've never seen tech like this. Terran said firmly, It must not be hidden. People must see it. That evening, a message was sent from Luma Ridge to both Earth's Central Council and the alien capital. It contained the memory cube footage and a short speech by Allah. Peace is not born from power, she said. It begins with kindness. One act, one heart. The message spread fast, across planets and stations. People watched a small boy helping a strange girl. No guns, no battles. Just kindness, and beside that message, he saw the starseed, the crystal of knowledge, floating like hope. In the days that followed, attacks slowed. Protests quieted. People still argued, but the fear had changed. Greater a story that could not be erased. Tareen and Ayla stood on a hill. Looking at the stars, we escaped the forest, Terran said. And we found more than memories, Ayla added. They didn't speak of war or politics, only the future. One shaped not by fear, but by what they had always shared. A bond and a promise. The world had seen the truth. After the message from Terran and Ayla was sent across space, many hearts began to change. The footage of a young human boy helping a hurt alien girl moved people. The starseed, floating like a glowing heart, became a symbol of peace. But not everyone wanted peace. In a dark room far from the colony, a group of angry people watched the video again and again. They called themselves the Earth Keepers, a secret group that believed humans should never mix with alien life. Their leader, a sharp-eyed man named Drevin, slammed his hand on the table. They've made us look weak. That alien girl is fooling everyone. Another man said people are starting to support them. Even some soldiers are talking about joining the peace plan. Drevin growled. Then we move now. We take the crystal. We stop the wedding. Send a message the whole galaxy will never forget. Back in Luma Ridge, Terran and Ayla stood near the open square. Peace guards from both sides now worked together, humans and aliens in the same uniform. A large screen played their story in soft images. Children sat on the ground watching. Some even drew pictures of Ayla and Terran holding hands with stars behind them. Mayor Rani met with them that morning. Her face was serious. We just received word, she said. Your message has reached over 200 colonies and ships. Support is rising fast. Earth's Council is now discussing a peace alliance with Ayla's people. Terran nodded. Good news, Rani hesitated. Yes, but there's danger too. The Earth Keepers are planning something. We don't know what. Ayla looked at Terran. Then we must stay strong. The storm always comes before the sun. Later that day, a ship landed quietly in the hills. Drevin and his men stepped out, wearing stolen Peace Guard uniforms. They moved fast and silent, hiding weapons under their coats. Their target, the starseed. If they could steal it or destroy it, the peace movement would collapse. Inside the research center, the starseed floated in a protective field. Scientists studied its glowing patterns. It had shared parts of its memory maps of lost worlds, clean energy plans, and peaceful messages from ancient alien civilizations. Terran visited it often, sitting quietly beside it. "It's strange," he told Ayla one evening. "This thing could be used to destroy or to build a better world." "It depends on the people who hold it," Allah agreed. "That's why we must protect it, not with weapons, but with will." Just then, a small alarm beeped on the screen. Unauthorized movement. Southgate Terran stood up. "We need to check it out." He and Ayla rushed outside. Peace guards were already on alert. Drones flew into the sky, scanning the area. Then the attack began. Boom. A blast hit the west wall of the research center. Smoke and dust filled the air. People screamed and ran. Dr. Evan and his men stormed in, pushing guards aside. One of them shouted, "Get the crystal!" Tarian pulled Alla behind a support beam. "We can't let them take it." "I have an idea," she said, pulling out a small device. "It's a cloaking field. I can reach the starseed. I can hide it." They crawled through the smoke, dodging broken wires and fallen beams. Inside the main room, 2 Earthkeeper members were trying to break the protection field around the starseed Terran picked up. A fallen guard's baton. Ayla charged her wrist shield. They jumped in. Terran swung the baton, knocking one attacker to the floor. Ayla used her shield to block a laser shot, then kicked the second man away from the crystal. "Activated." Taran shouted AYL through the cloaking device. A bright flash filled the room. When the light faded, the starseed was gone. Hidden daughter Evan ran in. "Where is it?" Tareen stood in front of Ayla. "You won't find it." Drevin pointed a weapon at them. "Then you both die." But before he could fire, a large drone crashed through the ceiling window. It sent a shockwave, knocking Drevin down. Peace guards rushed in from both sides. After a short fight, the Earthkeepers were caught. Drevin looked at Tareen as he was dragged away. "You think this is over? People like us don't stop. We wait. We strike again," Terran replied then. "We'll keep standing again and again." Hours later, the fires were out. The building was damaged, but the starseed was safe. Allah used the cloaking device to bring it back. Mayor Ronnie stood before the crowd. "They tried to break us, but we stood together, human and alien. Side by side, people cheered. Even those who once doubted now clapped. The fear was fading." That night, Terran and Ayla walked through the quiet town. Some windows had candles, glowing. Families waved at them. Children smiled. Tareen looked around. "So much has changed." Allah nodded. "And more will change." He looked at her. "You still want to marry me? After all this?" She smiled. "Now more than ever." They stood in the same spot where her ship once landed years ago. Now it was just soft grass and starlight. "I never thought saving a girl in the woods would lead to this," Terran said. "I never thought falling from the stars would lead me back to you," Ella replied. The next day, a new message was sent. Not from leaders, not from soldiers, but from 2 people, Taurine and Ella, holding hands before a crowd of mixed races. Speaking simple words, "We come from different worlds," Terran said, "but our hearts want the same thing: peace, respect, and a future." Allah added, "Let this be the start, not the end. Let love lead, not fear." The message was shared again and again across space, ships, and stations. People saw hope, people saw truth, and the future began to change. The sun rose slowly over Luma Ridge, painting the sky with soft orange and pink. The colony was alive with a different kind of energy. No more fear. No more hiding. Today was the day Terran and Ayla would stand together in front of their people, not just as friends, but as partners, united by their promise and love. The town square was decorated with glowing banners and flowers from both Earth and Ayla's home planet. Children ran around, their laughter filling the air. People from all races, humans and aliens, stood side by side. Waiting, Mayor Ronnie gave a short speech, her voice strong and warm. Today, we witness not only a marriage, but a new beginning. Chance for peace, trust, and friendship between our worlds. Terran stood beside Ayla. His heart was full. The boy who once helped a lost alien girl in the forest was now about to marry her in front of the whole colony. Ayla's blue skin shimmered in the sunlight. Her silver eyes held hope. The ceremony began simply but beautifully. Ayla's people brought soft music melodies made from light and sound. Humans sang old Earth songs. Together, they created a new harmony. Ayla spoke first, her voice clear and calm. Taran saved me when I was alone. He showed me kindness that crossed all stars. Today I promise to stand by him, not because of titles or power, but because of the bond we share. Taran took her hands gently. Ayla came back to me. After many years, she brought hope, courage, and a dream of peace. I promised to walk with her through every challenge and every joy. When the mayor declared them married, the crowd erupted in cheers. People hugged and smiled, tears of happiness shining in many eyes. Children waved tiny flags, half Earth, half alien. The song of peace floated in the air like a soft breeze. Taran and Ayla looked at each other and laughed. Their journey had been hard, but this moment made everything worth it. After the ceremony, there was a feast. Tables filled with food from both worlds, fruits glowing softly.
Nice. Spicy human dishes, sweet alien desserts.
People shared stories, dances, and laughter. The barriers between them felt smaller. Ayla danced with children, teaching them simple steps from her planet. Taran showed his friends how to build small flying toys from parts in his workshop, Mayor. Ronnie approached them. "You have changed this colony," she said, "and maybe even the galaxy." Taran smiled. "We're just two people trying to do the right thing." That night, under the stars, Taran and Ayla sat on the hill near the forest. "We did it," Taran said quietly. Ayla rested her head on his shoulder. "Yes, but this is only the start." He looked up at the sky. "What comes next?" She smiled. "We build the future, together." News of their marriage spread beyond Luma Ridge. Other colonies began to send messages of support. Talks between Earth and Ayla's people moved forward faster than anyone expected. People everywhere began to imagine a galaxy where differences were bridges, not walls. Months later, Taran and Ayla opened a center in the colony. It was a place for learning about human and alien cultures, languages, and technologies. Children from different planets studied side by side. Scientists shared ideas. Artists created new forms of music and art. The Peace Center became a symbol, a place where two worlds met as one. One evening, Ayla received a message from her family. Her title was restored because of old rules, but because of her courage. She looked at Taran. "I'm still me, just with a new name." He smiled. "You're more than a name. You're my partner." As the stars shone bright above Taran, and Ayla knew their story was just one of many. But their journey from a boy in a forest to a marriage that changed worlds proved one thing true. When kindness leads, even the greatest divides can be healed. And love is the strongest force. In the galaxy, the end.